Hey everyone, this is Elias from Refmatch Media, and today we're going to be taking a look at the 2023 BMW iX M60. Now, yeah, this may not be the best looking vehicle out there, but it's a lot of fun. Let's get started. We get started in the front, and I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan. I don't know, there's something about it that I'm so glad when I drive this, I'm inside and can't see the out. Yeah, but the weird thing is, it's got a lot of cool things. I just feel like it wasn't properly executed. Let's get started on those cool things. These headlights, these things are incredible. The LED with the BMW laser system looks really, really nice. It's nice and aggressive. It looks really good. I love it. The gray color is another great thing about this, is it looks really good. It does. It somehow stands out as a gray color, so it does look good. The grille looks great. We have the bronze color option on this, and it looks really nice. I like the way the color looks and the design, little element inside, but I don't like this whole thing. Yeah, it just, something about it. I don't know, there's something in the front bumper that I don't like. I don't know if it's just the I do like the massive grills in the other BMWs, but for some reason it just doesn't look right in this. This may have something to do with it, this big panel here. I don't mind this part. The bottom kind of area here is nice because it can open up when it needs a little bit more air. This area opening here is nice, but just something about it just, I don't know. I want to say it's definitely this kind of plain area. It just looks big and bulky, really. But yeah, I mean, we have the front-facing camera for the 360-degree camera system in this, which is really good. It's really sharp. It looks beautiful inside on that nice screen in there. Now, under this emblem, you can actually open it up, and it will give you the option to pour in your windshield wiper fluid. Yeah. Because to get under the hood, which is usually what we do, it's kind of a step. Let's go ahead and try to take a look at what's under here. You get under the hood and you gotta kind of hold it yourself. Yeah, so to open this hood, it's a little ridiculous, to be honest with you. You do have to actually, there's two latches. There's one on the driver's side and then the other on the passenger side. The other thing about that, it's literally just like a cable. It's like a bare cable. It looks kind of like, yeah, I don't have any cable to show you. It looks just like a cable that you just literally pull. I thought I was gonna break it because, yeah, I was hoping for a latch, you know, more refined latch in the sense of having a plastic, you know, the typical you see in cars. The other thing is there's no thing to hold this, prop this open, which I probably should have gotten a screwdriver and then just shoved it right in there to hold it there. And this is kind of a heavy hood, but yeah, under this hood, if you can get to it, so you can see the right in there is for the windshield wiper fluid. It does open up through the little emblem because, again, they really don't want you to touch anything here. Personally, I wouldn't, because I hate anything electrical or working on anything electrical, including literally just disconnecting and connecting a battery. Yeah, it's one of those things. I can probably take an engine apart with no problem, but I hate batteries. I really do. But this guy, there's no frunk, obviously. There is a massive fan system, which is really, really loud. It's you unlock it and it immediately starts running and it's really loud. Yeah, that was kind of confusing as to why it was so loud. But yeah, we got that. And this guy, though, will produce, so we have the dual motor system, and this guy will produce 610 horsepower and 811 pound-feet of torque. And it does 0 to 60 in 3.6 seconds. That's no joke. That's no joke, and it really can do that. So it's funny, I was thinking, other cars, obviously gas-powered cars, have fluids in them, especially gas. And, you know, some of them 15, 15 gallons even. And those 0 to 60 times can vary because you have, you know, where they measure with a full tank, with a half tank, with fumes kind of thing, but not with this. So obviously this already has the added weight of the batteries, and whatever they measure is what you get. And that 3.6, it definitely feels like that. You can get this big guy going. It is so smooth though. Again, it's very electric power, you know, very EV in the sense that from a stop, it's gonna go like a bat out of hell. Highway passing, no issues. This thing wants to go at all times, and it can go at all times. It's just really crazy. It's really crazy. So you just gotta have some respect for it. I'd have a little bit more respect for engineers that just give me a kick, just something. Yeah, this hood's getting heavy. So let's go ahead and head to those wheels and tires and see what we got there. We get down to the wheel and tire package, and we have the 22-inch M Arrow bicolor with bronze. Now that is wrapped in the 275/40 Bridgestone tire, and this setup is nice. First of all, the design is really unique. I love the design of it. I like the bronze accent that this has. I like the 22-inch size. These are big, but they need to be big for this big SUV. And the tires have been incredible, super quiet, especially in the EV. That's one of the biggest things with EVs is you will hear everything. So I'm glad that this tire is a nice quiet tire, but man, does it have a ton of grip, because putting that much power down is going to be important to safely do so. And yeah, this tire really accomplishes that with no issues. It just feels really good as well. The bumps in this is incredible because again, you have the weight of the battery down low, so it stabilizes in small, big bumps. You know, it really is good at handling the road and when there is no road as well. The other thing with this is the braking. The brakes are really good. This is a big guy, and to get this guy stopped really fast is really good in this. So those discs are definitely doing their job. Let's go ahead and see what we have on the side. We get to the side, and this thing is a little weird. It really is. There's such a weird design to it. I hate to reiterate it, but I'm kind of glad I'm in the inside when I'm driving this. I don't know, there's elements that are good, but like I said, the overall package, just something about it. Let's get started. So we have the nice big 22-inch wheels, which you can see really fill up the wheel well. Looks really good. We can raise the suspension a little bit, but it's kind of weird because it doesn't show like it says axle air suspension. So I don't know if it's not independent. It may just be kind of middle of both axles. So not sure what the case is, but yeah, you can raise it a little bit, but at the normal, we can see it looks really good. It stands really nice. We have framing with this bronze color on the bottom, and same thing with the mirror. The mirror is really nice. We do have the camera system here for that 360-degree view, which is, like I said, really good. And here's where we start getting some weird design cues. There's something happening because of the shape and kind of this line that creates here. There's some weird bulging that occurs here and kind of here. I thought I was the only one, but after seeing other people reviewing the iX as well, they did have that, and they did mention that as well. I do like the color. The color looks really good. The black accents, the black trimming is really good. And the door handle. Actually, before we get to the door handle, so obviously with it being 4 doors, nice and big doors, which is good. And we have this area here, which I like. I like this little kind of design cue, but then there's just something weird about kind of this little component here, but this looks really good. I like that. It's just little things that add up, and just not sure. They're just not looking great for me, at least in this vehicle. But I do love that. I do love this little iX badging there, and a little bit of a spoiler. Now this does have on top, it does have a like a glass roof. It does have the option of making it a little bit darker. It was really good. It actually was surprisingly good at keeping the heat out, even though it's scorching hot today. And this whole week we've had it. Now, the door handles. So we don't have any door handles, which is nice. I like this design. I love this because it goes in. It goes in. It doesn't kind of keep this clean completely, but I like the fact that it goes in and still actually kind of gives you a clean line there. So I do love that design. Now, I don't have the key fob with me because one of my favorite things with BMW, proximity. So once you start getting close to it with the key fob, it will unlock. So let me go ahead and go off camera and grab the keys. And you will see that once I start to get close, it will beep, as well as show you the mirror, and I can now go under and open up with no problem. Frameless window looks really good on here, but there's a little bit of an Easter egg. This is an aluminum frame with carbon fiber components. You can actually see the dry carbon right here on the pillar. It looks really good, and just kind of going all around the front as well. It's awesome. When I opened it up, that was one of the big things that I was like, whoa, that looks really good. So we can go ahead and close that off, and you can press here to lock it. You lock it, and now you try to open it from the back, and it won't open from the back. But again, if I were to go off camera, come back on camera, it will do essentially the unlock function. And I should be doing both. Yes, it does. It normally does do both, but because I did it with the key fob, so you still have that. Just be sure if you're gonna open the rear, open that up first, let the kiddos in, let the dog in, put your stuff in the back, whatever you may want, and you're good to go. You can only lock it in the front though, because the back does not have the little kind of sliding sensor on there. Well, let's actually go ahead and head to the back and see what we have back there. We get to the back, and this is probably my favorite part of the BMW iX. The design-wise, the rear is definitely the best looking. I love these taillights. These taillights are nice and sleek, nice and slim. I love the design of it. We do have the iX badge there and the M60 on the other side with that bronze trim to it, which again looks really good. BMW badge here with the camera here, again with that 360-degree system. Rear wiper, the spoiler looks really nice. It's just ever so slightly, but it looks really good. And yeah, no exhaust tips because this is again full electric, and would be nice to imagine having that rear down there. Does definitely look good for maybe like quad tip rear exhaust. But yeah, this is really nice. Let me go ahead and grab the key off of camera, because again, when you get close to this, it's going to want to unlock, and I'll go ahead and unlock it. So you can see again, the taillights look really good, and it does have the button to open the hatch. Now this is kind of weird though. So you open this up and there is a ton of space. I love the amount of space that there's here. One thing I don't like, this. Yeah, let's have this kind of go up with something as well, maybe attached to this so that it opens up that way. But it was just kind of annoying to have that there, especially if you're wanting to get something bigger in here. But yeah, overall a good amount of space. We do have a little bit more of that exposed carbon fiber here, and we have the lights here because obviously when you open up the trunk, for safety reasons, you want to have those lights there, which look good. I like their design there. The other thing with this though is you have the key fob, you try closing it, and it's not going to close. So this appears to be a latch release from down here. You have to actually go ahead and, let me see if maybe even locking it. No, you can't lock it. So you literally have to push this button there to get this guy closed. That was a little confusing. I would have thought that this would be an open and close, but it's just an open. The other thing is remote start. There is none on here. If you unlock it, it starts to work the AC, but sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it does. It's so confusing. This remote stuff is really confusing, and I can't honestly say when it's gonna work, when it's not gonna work. With it being 108 degrees some days, you wanna get this guy cooled. I don't know if you have to have the BMW ID, which we'll talk about later on, as far as like, it just so limiting unless you have like that profile account set up with BMW, which with this being a press car, we're really not able to. Well, let's go ahead and hop in and go for a ride. We get inside of the iX, and this thing is extremely futuristic looking. Yeah, there's a lot of things that were kind of questioned, as far as why does it have to be this way? Why can't we make it different? Why can't we make it better? Now, you succeeded in some parts, and others maybe not the best. But yeah, let's get started. So one of those things is the door. The door is kind of unconventional. So there's a couple of things that are unconventional with this. First, we have at the top crystal adjusters for your seats. So we're kind of going the Mercedes route, where your seat adjustments are on the door, but they took it a little bit further and went with crystal. Now, I don't know, I don't know if it's just plastic, transparent plastic, or what exactly it is, but yeah, it looks nice. It does reflect, so you may see some kind of weird artifacts on my face. It hasn't been too much that it's been kind of blinding or anything like that, but yeah, it's got crystals for the seat adjustments, really out there. And then the armrest itself, though, is really comfortable. I would have liked this to work, the top part, but it's actually at an angle like this, so it would technically, so my arm keeps sliding off. So that I wasn't a big fan of, because sometimes I don't mind having like a taller place to rest my arm, but the bottom one was really comfortable, so no complaints there. Now, the other thing that I kind of said, they're questioning of like, why do we have to have an opening handle? So they do have a button. So the button here, actually, you press it and it opens up the door, and it is electronic. So if for some reason you lose battery, you still have the manual door handle down here, or door opening latch thing, but it's like really hidden. If it wasn't that I was kind of getting trash out of the little cubby hole down here, I would have never seen this. But yeah, you have it down here and you're able to open the door. The Bowers & Wilkins sound system is great, which we'll definitely get into. But the one thing I don't like is kind of this cloth material where my knee seems to be hitting it, and you're kind of starting to see that indentation in that area from obviously not just me, but other people that have driven this. So not sure if I'm a fan, because again, it's wear and tear, and it's a pretty big cloth panel on there. So yeah, that's kind of one of the things that maybe didn't work too successful. Now we get to the seats, and okay, there is a lot to these seats. There's a lot of things. So first, they're extremely comfortable. Like I said, that adjustability, it's very simple, but it's to the point, and I can perfectly find my spot that I have for that very sweet spot of driving. And yeah, they look good. They look good. They also have USB connections in the back, which I'm not sure. Yeah, it's just kind of weird to have it on the seat itself. Actually, it's like by the headrest. But the other thing is, they're heated, they're cooled, they're massage, very half-ass massage. In fact, no ass massage, because your butt doesn't get massaged. Neither does your shoulders, like it did in Mercedes. Basically, the only thing you have is like the lumbar support just kind of coming in and out. It was kind of lackluster, to the point that I tried it once and that was it. That's all I really used it for. And as you guys may know, I am a sucker for massage seats in expensive luxury vehicles. So we have that. The other thing we have is the 4D sound. So what that does is basically, well, actually, okay, before we even get to that, it does have built-in speakers as well, so you can add an additional source of your music to this. The 4D function is, it seems to have a subwoofer in the seat, or it has some mechanism to vibrate for the bass sounds. Now, with that being said, though, it was very lackluster as well for rock music. Rock music just, the kick drum just did not, you couldn't feel it like you did with hip hop. Now I know, hip hop usually has harder bass, but you should still feel some of it. And that was the thing with the with kind of that 4D vibration for low frequencies, is it was like really noticeable or not noticeable at all. There was no like kind of middle ground to it. So great idea, not the best execution. So I would have really liked to have, an overall just good feel to it. And there's adjustability, but like I said, there's like dead spots between between the kind of a little bit and a lot and then a less. It's just, I wish it were a little bit better, because it felt great when, I had some hip hop music running or rap music, and that, that 808 really hit hard. So, and I felt it, which was awesome. Even my kiddo said, this is cool. But then we went to a rock song and it was completely gone. Played with the EQ, and it definitely isn't the EQ either. So, don't comment and say, oh, you didn't set up the EQ. We tried a bunch of different things. Then we get over to the steering wheel, and this steering wheel has changed my life. Yes, flat bottom is not the way to go. You need flat bottom, flat top, and flat sides. That is the best steering shape ever. It is not round. Round steering wheels are boring. Round steering wheels are not good. So thank you, BMW, for putting this in a car, in a production vehicle. Thank you. It's crazy, but this feels so good. I feel comfortable holding it up down, on the sides, up here, down here. This is what the steering wheel should evolve to. It should have evolved to this. And now I am looking for a steering wheel similar to this for my Miata, because that's how good this is. Now, and that the feel is really good, nice soft leather. It doesn't have too much give when you squeeze it, but that's fine. It still has a good firm feel to it. The shape, again, unbelievable. We get to the controls, and we have very limited things. On the left hand side, we have our cruise control, and on the right hand side, we actually have a good amount of improvements. So we do have finally a button to change the gauge cluster and the heads-up display just here, and it's visible and it's obvious. Unlike other BMWs that have it on the turn signal, which is like one little button, and we don't get any options really. We just get one or two kind of thing, and it's kind of, it's really bad. But in this one, yes, thank you. You guys are moving a step forward towards having customizing gauge cluster, which we'll get into. But you have your controls here. This little kind of multi-function wheel / button was nice. It wasn't too bad. I didn't mind it. I actually enjoyed it. The feel to it was really good as well. Now we get to the gauge cluster, and the gauge cluster is really nice. Like I said, we have that function to change the kind of the content to what we have on the gauge cluster right here on the wheel, which is a nice touch. What I've been really using is the kind of distance to show, kind of like, okay, the car's here and you have X amount of miles to go. So that's been good. You also have like the safety, the car in front of you kind of thing, and you have your maps kind of layout and directions. So really nice options. Thank you. That's what we needed. That's what every BMW needs, options, because it kind of sucks that you only have like one or two things you can do on other BMWs that I've driven. My other favorite thing, which is crazy, is the layout. Now I was like, why do we have just kind of like a small, it's like the big brackets and then kind of the smaller brackets. I was like, why would we do that? But then I realized I complain a lot about a steering wheel kind of getting in the way of the gauge cluster based on my positioning of how I like to sit in my cars. And it's great that the smaller one just kind of brings everything in for you to see everything, in case you're positioned in a way where these guys may get in the way of on the steering wheel. So it is a nice touch to that. But in this case, I like having the bigger brackets on there. And then we also have the heads-up display, which we can change. That was a little lackluster, didn't have quite the flexibility that I'd like, or functions that I may want to have on there. We come over to the infotainment screen, and this thing is big. It is widescreen. It's a touchscreen as well. It's really nice. I love the look to it. I hate the UI. The user interface is extremely difficult. It's not the BMW interface that we've had before in other BMWs, and I hate it. I don't like the feel to this system. I just don't. It's very complicated, and we do have wireless Apple CarPlay, which we've had a ton of issues with. Yeah, which is incredible because BMW was one of the first wireless Apple CarPlay companies that I've experienced that were really, really good. No issues with everything, but I just cannot stop having issues with it. I've had this for under a week, and I've already had to reset the system reset 2 times. Literally right before I started filming today and 2 days ago. Yeah, so I hope it's not a pattern. I hope, and it's not my phone, it's also my wife's phone, which is on it's a different physical phone, so it's different system, so it can't say, oh, it's a bug in your phone. We are on the latest software. We're not using, for iOS, we're not using beta software or anything like that, which can cause some issues here and there because it's obviously not tested. But yeah, it's just a lot of issues with connectivity. If you guys have an iX, let me know if it's just me in this car or if you're experiencing this as well. But yeah, it was extremely difficult to have to, and I tried everything before I reset the system because there's a lot of settings in here that you have to redo, and they have the BMW ID thing, which kind of saves your settings, but it's because this is a loaner, I can't I don't have the functionality of being able to set up an account with that. But yeah, other than that though, you kind of just go to the home screen, and yeah, I mean, I try to stay in Apple CarPlay because when I go to menu, there is a lot of things, but I don't know if it's in a good way. And then when you go to let's see, we'll go to system settings. If you're just kind of looking for things, there are just a lot of hidden things that you're just kind of having to guess, okay, where are the settings for this, where are the settings for that. It's just not a really good laid out system. Yeah, you can see there's a lot of driving settings, so things that really don't show up unless you're kind of going through that menu, which was kind of a letdown. I was a little disappointed with how this is kind of laid out. Yeah. Then we go to the AC, and there's no hard buttons for AC, so you have to press on that climate menu there, and we have an array of extremely large amount of options. Yeah, and what sucks is that in order for my passenger to switch, maybe they want on their feet, they have to press climate, they have to scroll over, and they have to choose this button to have them bring it to their feet. But it's a lot. This should not be there. Give me an attachment down here with the AC controls, a really long set of buttons there that does climate systems. So I didn't like this. I'm not a big fan of that climate system. Other than that, I guess it's okay. I think it's just too much, especially for me that I'm in tech and I love tech. It really was a lot. So the regular consumer, they may feel significantly more overwhelmed with this system. Now we come up here, and there's a couple of things up here. We do have a camera up here, which apparently only takes pictures if you're stopped, and you do have to be logged into the account or your BMW ID, which is why I couldn't access it on there. We do have a panoramic glass, or just a big glass above, and we have a little button that will dim or darken the top. What's crazy about that is This is really cool to the touch, and I was in 107-degree weather, and it was extremely cool. I was surprised, you know, I could touch and keep my hand there, while when I touched this, it was scorching hot. So it is a really, really good system. And I hate sunroofs. You know, convertibles I do like. I'm starting to like convertibles with my Miata and some other awesome convertibles that we've driven. But yeah, this was really, really good. I was scared. I go, oh gosh, you know, we're in Texas summer heat. We're gonna die in this, you know, having this big glass on the top. But that wasn't the case with this. So really impressed with that. We come way back down, and with this being an EV, we do have kind of this area here where you're able to just kind of literally put your feet through. It reminds me of my dad's 85 Ford F-150 with the front bench seat, and you just kind of have that area in the front there. His was manual, but you still kind of had that area there, and it wasn't connected to the dashboard for a center console. Now, we come back a little bit more to the bottom area, and we do have cup holders, and these are horrible. These are horrible cup holders because they are being blocked by the top part of the center console, so you will bump into them. Careful with big cups as well, because again, getting them out is going to be tough, because you have to kind of pivot. You have to pivot the cup in order to get it in and out. So I was not a big fan of that. Another thing we have down here is the wireless charger. Now, it's kind of out of the way, but it is still exposed to the sun. And yeah, this thing got really hot, and it was telling me the warning, you can't charge your phone till it cools down. Except it probably was it took a while. It probably took about 20-minute drive and me blasting the AC at the coldest, and it was still telling me, yeah, hey, you can't charge because it's hot. I think that's a design flaw, because if I can't charge, you guys were probably testing in colder weather, but I feel like you'll have to get a cover for that or something. I may have to start designing wireless charging covers, because this is not the first time I've experienced this, which is kind of a shame, because yeah, we're in Texas and it gets hot here. But yeah, other than that though, once it starts working, it's really good, no complaints. The phone stays there. It's a big enough space to fit larger phones as well. We come to the top, and we have a couple of things. We do have the this little area here if you want to put your phone in there and run the cable to the two USB-C connections. So those only have USB-C connections on here, but I've been using it for the key to make it nice and convenient right in there. Then we come a little bit to the left, and we have the start-stop button. With this car, I have no idea when it's on. I have no idea when it's off. When I open the door, it's off, but then it's still on. And yeah, it's extremely confusing to know when this thing is working. And the thing is, there's kind of like a half on, half off. It's just frustrating. That is one of the things that I don't know if that's a setting somewhere, but I can't find it. It's just been extremely frustrating to figure out, are you on, are you off, did I lock it, are you just gonna use up all the battery power? It's just confusing. And it's crystal. It's got a crystal cover to it. It's ridiculous. It's great though. And speaking about even more ridiculous is the shifter. The shifter is also crystal. And yeah, we do have your reverse, your neutral, your drive, but we also have your B, your braking mode, which is basically the one pedal braking. Now you do have the option of being in drive and going into your settings somewhere, I forget where, and switching that, because at first I didn't know what the B was. I didn't know you push it down again and it essentially gives you the one pedal drive. So I manually went in and changed that there. Then we have the parking button, which parks it and then turns it off, but then sometimes keeps it on, and then I get frustrated and can't figure out what's going on. Yeah. And my favorite, auto hold. You don't need auto hold when you're in the B mode, because when you do let off the gas, it will completely come to a stop, as I will demonstrate now. And yeah, brake is completely on. But yeah, you can always just push it. I still like to have it on because it helps. It's nice to have that extra kind of safety there. Now, we also come over to the right, and this is where I am a little confused. We have a wood kind of grain to this, and I'm confused because why isn't this on anything else but this, in a good way? And because this is beautiful, the feel to it, the look of it, it's just a really great wood. I love this. I wish we had wood trim on other pieces here, and I'd probably get rid of this kind of like brushed aluminum thing for maybe some wood or just something else with this wood, because it's really, really nice. I do love the look to it. We start at the top and we have some menu shortcuts, which I've been extensively using because this is better to reach than having to reach over here. It is the way that I have my seat positioned and I feel comfortable and safe. It does kind of put the screen a little bit further than I'd like to have. But yeah, this has been incredible down here. The crystal knob here is awesome. I do like the feel to it regarding spinning. So spinning and pushing down has been good. The kind of up functions and down and left and right has not been the greatest feel. Like you have to really pull at it or push or whatever. But the spinning feel to it is really, really good. And then we have some parking, parking cameras that are actually really good. So we'll go ahead and do this three-point stop or turn, and yeah, they're just really good. The system is nice and clear, no complaints there. Really, these camera systems are incredible. So I really like the look to them, and again, with the big screen, bright screen, it's been good. It's been really good to have that on there. We come over to the right side and we have the volume knob, which is basically what I've been using more than the knob than the buttons really on the wheel. We also have the hand gestures. Yeah, you can see we can do that. Now we are limited with the gestures because we don't have the BMW ID. Again, another thing that's like, gosh, just why do I have to have a login for something? Just give it to me. Yeah. But thankfully, we don't have to have a login for my modes, which is basically the drive mode. So you can go into personal, which is kind of like the normal. We go sport, and then we also have the efficient. And you can see it changes the way that the background looks on there. And when we go to sport, we have some settings that we can change. So you guys can see the different things that you have for that. Now we get to the back, and the back is extremely comfortable. There is a lot of space there. There's no complaints from my kiddo. He's been really comfortable. The child lock is on the door, which is nice. On my driver's door, on the window controls. So it's nice that I can just be in here and set it. If there's adults in there, I can turn it off and not have a problem. The trunk is also big, no complaints there. It's plenty of space. You can really haul a lot of things. The only thing I don't like is that cover in the rear. It's kind of annoying and kind of gets in the way. Now, let's talk performance. We're dealing with a dual electric motor setup, and they do crank out 610 horsepower and 811 pound-feet of torque. Again, they are, with them being dual motors, all four wheels do spin. This thing is incredible. The crazy thing is it's kind of quirky. It has different animations. So we'll go to sport mode, and yeah. So this does have launch control. You hold down the brake, you hold it down. I don't know if you guys can hear it. You can probably see it. It is vibrating the car a little bit, and yeah, it's pretty gimmicky, and we'll go. Oh, yeah, this thing is insanely fast. 3.6 seconds to 60. That's insane. That's insane for a vehicle like this. The crazy thing, so you do have an auditory kind of cue where it does kind of give you that whirring spaceship sound, which is good because you need to You need to have it in this vehicle because it's a very quiet vehicle. That's the biggest flaw that a lot of electric vehicles have, is that because there's no engine sound, you hear every single little creak. Not with this. So you don't hear creaks. You know, steering wheel, literally power steering, I've heard in other vehicles, but we do have that added motor sound, which is a lot of fun. I don't know who loved it more, my kid or me, but yeah, it's just been really good. This thing is insane when it comes to just the power delivery. You could be at any speed. You could literally be at a complete stop, and the brakes are good too. You know, the brakes get this guy really stopped. You can be at a complete stop and just have it go. I am fighting to try to keep my seat positioning. Yeah, this thing is nuts. And so even from a stop, or you're just kind of cruising and you realize you need to pass someone, you will without a doubt. You will pass that person. I don't think, oh my gosh, this has been exhilarating. Like, just how it's insane how much power this thing has. It just wants to go, like I said, at any speeds. And yeah, I'm sorry, but that launch control is such a gimmick, and I love it. I love it. Just go. Oh my gosh, this is insane. It just wants to keep going. Oh my gosh, it's been such a blast to drive this. Now, the other thing is the weight does feel, on bumps, it does feel really low, which is good, because when you hit a bump, you barely feel it, if you even really feel it at all. But when you do turn, or you're on a curve and you're maybe going a little bit fast, you do feel the top heavy. You do feel the top, you know, the weight kind of go from bottom to just kind of top like that. But other than that though, this thing is insane. It's insane how much power this, I'm BMW, thank you for having that sound. And I believe you can turn it off, but you don't want to. You don't want to turn it off because, yeah, you're not going to realize how fast, especially on the highway. That is really where I felt the most like, whoa, I am going faster than I thought I was, because it's just such a smooth ride with the battery weight being down and the suspension being tuned really good, the wheel, tire set, everything, you know, just kind of here down is really good. Here up, yeah, you got some weight, and it does kind of feel that way. So again, only when you are like on, you know, when you're on turns. Well guys, I hope you've enjoyed my review of the BMW iX. And remember, find the right gear. But this one doesn't have any gears, it just has electric motors. So enjoy the launch. Oh gosh.